So what is going on, my fellow collectors? How is everybody doing today? Daredevil19 here, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Super Action Statue Drifters Nobunaga Oda. So let's get into it right away and start off with the box. So from the looks of it, we do get a basic style box for this Super Action Statue line. So we do get the window right there in the front of the box. On the top says SAS Super Action Statue, on the bottom says Drifters, and then on the left here says Nobunaga Oda, and then the bottom of the box does have the barcode and bloody blast open, nobody cares about, and then here is the top of the box. And then the one side of it with a very nice image of the Oda figure there. And then the other side of the box, same thing as the one side, as you can see. And then the back of it does show a couple poses you can get the figure into, along with all of his accessories. But anyway, that's the packaging. Let's get this figure over to take a closer look at this extremely smart strategist on the battlefield. Alrighty, taking a closer detailed look, and they did a really great job when it comes to the detail. The sculpt and the paint of this figure turned out extremely well, but my main issue with this figure is pretty much every joint, besides the arms and the wrists, are super loose, and sometimes it's difficult to get the figure to stand because his ankles are so loose, the legs, the upper leg joints, the waist, both neck joints, even these pieces with his robe, the sleeves on the robe are pretty loose too. So when you make a figure, I feel like that's one of the biggest issues that you can have with a figure is super loose joints. That is not good for any figure company to do that. I mean, look at the neck here. That is so loose. Even the waist right there, and the legs, the ankles are probably one of the worst, along with the neck. Even the hair is super loose too. So all the joints are just, they need to be much tighter. You can't make a figure with joints this loose, man. It's not good at all. It's hard to post the figure around. And then another issue with the joints is some of them pop off, like the hair one. This piece popped off on me. The right leg joint constantly falls out on me, and they're all ball hinges, kind of like Revoltech, but they don't click when you articulate them around. But I mean, this one constantly falls off, and it's so annoying. And then another thing, when you swivel the joints, some of them split apart, like on the wrist here, the one on the hair there. Like, it's like, what the hell is going on with the joints on this figure? So far, that is the biggest issue that I found with this line so far, is the joints splitting apart, how loose they are, and them falling out. You know, that's not good for a figure company, not good at all. Good thing I did get another figure from this line, and it is much better than this one when it comes to the joints. But going over the detail here, I think they did a fantastic job with the paint and sculpt. The face, I think, turned out great. Very nice tiny paint and sculpt detail. The paint's nice and clean wherever there is paint, on the eye patch, the eyebrows, the beard, and the teeth and everything, even on the earrings. So really great job on the face. And then the hair, definitely one of my favorite parts about the figure. Oh yeah, another issue though, when they, I guess, glued the face to the back part of the hair, they didn't line the hair up properly, and it just kind of looks stupid. If you look on this one, they lined it up properly, but on this one they didn't, and it just kind of looks a little weird. So there's another issue with the figure. But other than that, the sculpt and the paint of the hair just really look beautiful on this figure. I love the sculpting of it. We get some beautiful shading all throughout it, and the hair is articulated as well. So I do like that they did make it articulated. So definitely one of the coolest parts about the figure is how they sculpted and painted the hair. And then we do get some shading on the skin tone around the chest, a very heavy shading on the neck there. I don't see it on the face though, but we do get a cool little necklace here, which you can move it around, but it is glued on the sides. But they did a nice job with the sculpt and paint on it. Nice sculpt all throughout the torso, on the gi and everything. And I do love the shading on the gi. I think they did an excellent job with that. And I do like the sculpted wrinkles all throughout it as well. And then the back, we do get some more shading and more sculpted wrinkles. Then we do get a sculpted line going down, running down the center right there. Then we do get a peg hole, which is for the stand. And then the arms, very nice sculpted wrinkles once again, and very nice shading as well on the upper and lower arms right there. And I do like the way that the sleeve looks. I think that looks pretty cool. You can still see some of his forearm right there. So very good job on the torso and the arms. Then for the waist here, we do get a belt, and the front of the belt with the knot did pop off on me, so I did have to super glue it back on. So that's a little another minor issue right there. But the sculpt of it looks really nice. They do a very good job sculpting these figures. Then I believe the maroon cloth is his robe, I'm guessing, and he has it tied around his waist. I really hate these pieces here because they do get in the way, but it is good that they made them articulated. But like I said, the joint on this one is very loose on mine. The left one is much better, so at least that one I can articulate and leave it in a pose. But the sculpt of it, beautiful sculpt all throughout it, and very nice shading all throughout it as well. And then the back here, right here, very heavy shading. I think they put a little too much shading on there compared to on the sleeves, but very nice sculpted wrinkles all throughout it. Now for the pants here, one issue with the pants is there is some gray paint on the right upper thigh right there, which is a bit irritating, so that does kind of suck. But the sculpt of the pants do look very nice, sculpted wrinkles all throughout it, the front and the back there. And then for the lower leg, I do like the way the pants look at the bottom. They look like they're kind of torn and ripped, so I do dig the way that looks. And I feel like there is some sort of shading on the pants. I can't really tell. I guess I'm just going blind. Then you do see a bit of his lower legs, nice sculpt and nice shading on it. And then for the feet here, they did put some nice shading on it, but on the toes, especially the right one, it's much more pale compared to the rest of the skin tone, so it does look a bit odd, but you can see the toenails sculpted on there and everything. And then we do get his sandals and the paint for the straps on the top of the foot. Nice clean paint work on that. And then on the bottom, they actually put some shading on the bottom of the sandals, which I guess is pretty cool. So overall, the detail I think was executed very well on this figure, but there is that major issue with the very loose joints popping apart and splitting apart, falling off and stuff. So that is a huge issue right there with the figure. But other than that, I think the paint and sculpt turned out really nice on this Nobu. But anyway, let's continue on. Moving on to the accessories, we really don't get a whole bunch included with this Oda, but we do get a few cool things. So we do get a stand, which is definitely cool when any figure company doesn't include a stand with their figure. So we do have the base right there, and then an arm, and it is articulated like a basic stand. Does swivel and hinge at the bottom, hinges at the middle, and hinges at the top. We just have a peg on the end, which does peg into the back of the figure there. So we do get the stand, and then we also get two interchangeable heads. And one thing I really like that they did, they gave us the entire head with the hair as well. It's not just a face that you swap in and out, so that is definitely a big plus right there. So we do get this one on the left. It does come on the figure out of the packaging, and like I said before, excellent job with the detail all throughout it. Nice clean paint, and the sculpt just looks awesome on this head here. So we do get the smiling face, and then we also get the laughing face here. And once again, excellent job with the paint and sculpt. Nice clean paint all throughout the face, on the eye patch, inside the mouth, around the beard and everything. And then the hair, beautiful sculpt all throughout it, and very nice shading as well. And it is articulated, the hair, just like with the other head, but it is very loose joints once again. And the way you interchange the heads is fairly simple. All you do is just pop it on the peg right there. You just push down to get it on, and then just pull up to take it off. So we do get those two alternate heads. And then we also get his old school rifle, and I believe this is called a musket. I'm not 100% sure on that, but this is definitely the coolest accessory included with Nobu here. They did an awesome job with the paint and sculpt, and the sculpt of the wood actually looks like real wood. So really awesome job with that. I like that the shading is right there. We get some black shading there. Under on the barrel on the wood, there's some shading on the bottom there. Then on the other side, they added some more. And then we have these like 3 silver dots. I guess they're like screws or bolts or something. And I really like that they added that tiny little detail on there. And then the barrel itself looks pretty good too. And then this part over here, you can actually swivel it up and down. So I really like that they added that little feature on the gun there. But really awesome job on this musket here. And he does grab onto it perfectly fine with the one set of hands he's included with. So we do get that, and then we finally get 6 interchangeable hands. So we do get a pair of fists, of course, which come on the figure out of the packaging, and very nice sculpt detail all throughout these. And there is some shading on the hands as well, and the rings turned out really good too. Nice sculpt and clean paintwork all throughout them, and all his hands are very simple to interchange. You can even see the fingernails sculpted on the fist right there. So we do get a pair of those. And then we do get a pair of open, like resting type hands, or you could use these to grab onto the other end of his musket. But very nice sculpt and paint shading all throughout it. The rings turned out really good once again. But on this hand, I have like some sloppy paintwork all around the thumb, like some brown and red and silver right there. So a little bit of sloppy paintwork going on with this hand here. So we do get these open resting type hands, and then we finally get another set of open hands, but these are more like the trigger finger hands because of the way the gun is shaped. You have to like put it on an angle, but he does grip onto his musket perfectly with these hands here. But very nice sculpt and paint detail all throughout these on the rings. You can see the fingernail sculpted on there and everything, so really great job mostly on all the interchangeable hands. But that is all the accessories included with Nobu. Let's keep moving on with the rest of the review, shall we? Now for the height of Nobu, and this super action statue line is a little bit bigger than your basic 6-inch scale figure line. So to the very top of his head, it looks like he stands a little bit over 7 inches tall. And then here he is compared to the Storm Collectible Sub-Zero, the super action statue Toyohisa Shimazu, the SH Figure Arts Madara Uchiha, and the Figma Repainted Edition Guts. And then here he is compared to the Variable Action Heroes Time Skip Luffy, the Past Blue Rowan Zoro, the SH Figure Arts The Dark Knight Batman, and the Mafex 2.0 Joker. And then here he is compared to the SH Figure Arts Awakened Warrior Super Saiyan Goku and the Mezco 112 Deadpool. Anyway, there's some quick comparisons. Let's keep moving on with the rest of the review. So now for the articulation, we do have some articulated hair, so it is on a ball hinge in 3 different spots, and I do like that they did that, so they all can hinge up and down a little bit, they can pivot, and they can move side to side, swivel. So I do like how the hair is articulated in 3 different spots. Then we do have 2 neck joints here, so the upper neck joint, you really can't get Nobu to look up at all because the hair does hinder it, but he does look down a pretty good amount, so nice forward movement at least. And if the hair wasn't there, you would have some pretty good back movement. And we do get a tiny bit of pivot, but since the joint is so loose, it does not stay no matter what you do. And then we do get swivel up at the upper neck. Then the lower neck does not go back at all, but it does go forward a tiny bit. So with both joints, I guess he does look down a little bit more. Then you do get a tiny bit of pivot at the lower neck, and then it does swivel as well. So if the joints weren't so loose, I guess we will get some decent neck articulation. Then we don't have any torso movement, but we do have a waist joint here, and the way they sculpted it in the front, it does hinder it from going forward and side to side, so he really cannot go forward at all with the waist joint unless you move it a little bit. It does go forward a tiny bit. It does go back much better. We do get better pivot going left, but going right it does get hindered because of the way they sculpted it. And then we do get some nice swivel there. Now for the arms here, we actually get some pretty good shoulder movement because we do have a nice joint at the shoulder, so you do get a good circular motion out of the arm right there. And then the arms do go out to the sides about 90 degrees, which is good. They do go up and down, no bicep swivel, so you will have to use it at the shoulder joint. And we do have single jointed elbows that bend in a little more than 90 degrees, and the joint does swivel where it connects into the bicep and where it connects into the forearm. Then we do have a ball hinge on the wrist, so it does swivel and then hinges back and forth. Now for the robe that is around his waist, the sleeves are on a ball hinge, which every joint pretty much is, so they can hinge up and down and they can swivel, and you can get them to pivot as well. I mean, you can move it any type of way you want since it's on a ball hinge. Now the legs here, we get some really bad leg articulation. You can only get Nobu to kick forward barely 45 degrees, so that's really bad right there. Then going back, the legs really don't go back at all. Then doing the splits, even worse movement here. They really do not go out to the sides at all. I don't even think they hit 45 degrees, so really bad leg movement right there. Then we do get a swivel at the upper thigh, and then we do have single jointed knees. They barely bend back at all though because of the way they sculpted the pants. I feel like they should have sculpted a few more gaps in there so you have better knee movement, but I mean, that's the best knee articulation you're going to get out the figure, and it does swivel where it connects into the thigh and where it connects into the lower leg. Now the ankles, they do swivel, they hinge up a really good amount, and same with hinging down, and then you do get a 90-degree bend ankle pivot, which is definitely awesome. And then we do have a little bit of a toe hinge. So Overall, we get some okay articulation. It just sucks that the joints are so loose. And another thing is, we do get some hindered movement because of the way they sculpted the figure. So you don't get as good articulation as you would if they sculpted stuff a little bit differently. But you're still going to be able to get them in some okay Nobu-like poses. And I'm about to show you some of them right about now. But anyway, that is my review of the Super Action statue Nobunaga Oda. Hope you enjoyed it. If I had to rate this figure between a 1 through 10, I'd have to give it a 6.5. If you would like to know the price and where to buy this figure, I did get mine from Amazon, but it's kind of hard to find this figure. I know my buddy from Agelessgeeks doesn't have this one, but he does have Toyohisha in stock, not on the website, only at his booth at Frankensons. But if you do ever buy something from Agelessgeeks.com, don't forget to enter in code name Daredevil, and you will get yourself a 5% off discount. I will put more information in the description below. And if you would like to support the channel, don't forget to subscribe and click on that notification bell. And if you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, just give it a thumbs up anyway, because action figures are awesome. But thanks for watching. I will see you later. So from the looks of it, we do get a basic style box for the we do get the window right there in the front of the box. On the top says SAX. The heck? We do get the window right there on the front of the box. On the top says SAS. Damn it. Tom, I did it again. Then the bottom of the box, there's the barcode. And this line is a little bit bigger than your basic six. Then the back of it does show a couple pull. Damn it. Couple cool, not pull, what the heck? And this line is a little bit bigger than your basic 6-inch. Now for the height of Nobu and this statue action. Damn, I said that totally wrong. The Storm Collectibles Sub-Zero, the Super the SH Figure Arts Madara Uchiha, and the Fogma, what the beep? And then we do have a peg that does peg into the back of the figure, and damn it, I'm dropping a bunch of stuff, son of a beep. 2 interchangeable heads, and he does grip onto it pretty well with the one of these jabbas all throughout the hair as well. Oh dear.